So we're in it now.
A little bit, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to, I guess, the Orange Line. That's the working title. But I am Dr. PhD, otherwise known as Pat Haley, here with my good friend Matt Tompkins.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
I don't know if you wanted to use a name or anything.
No, I'll let the people decide.
The people decide. I like it. Well, we are 2 weeks into the season right now. The Flyers are 4-4. So we have
an ugly 500, might I add.
Yeah, we
One
have
of the ugliest 500s you could be.
We got a lot to talk about for where we're at this season.
Yeah.
Specifically coaching right now.
I think that's the biggest problem. I mean,
well, it's inconsistent because Hackstall's wanting to do so many things with the defense, and changing it up literally every single game isn't helpful. And that's leaving our goalies out to dry, because for the first, 4 or 5 games of the season, Elliott stood on his head for this team and still lost.
I thought Elliott had a great start to the season, and I've actually had, from the people I've talked to, I've had some blowback on this. I really didn't think that the blowout game in the first home opener was any of Elliott's fault. I mean, those first 4 goals, and people were saying, oh, he's got to save the first one. First of all, that's a 2-on-1, and Logan Couture can put the puck in the net.
Yeah.
I mean, if people weren't sure of that before, then I mean, check the highlights. Kid can shoot. He knows where to put the puck. And then the second one, the rebounds, Elliott, and that's where I think the problem with Elliott is he can make the Flyers give up premium shots. They give up premium shots. That's just what they do. And Elliott can make that save. Can you really blame him if the rebound he gives up is off a premium shot? That's like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that there was, and that's not to. I think that the game that Elliott played against Florida, horrendous. The team was playing bad, but that was an absolute shit show in that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, even though the defense has let our goaltenders down, game after game, they still haven't stepped up to the point when it's like, okay, at least we're able to survive in a game. Because I saw, I don't know how many it is now, but I saw within the first 6 games we let up 31 goals, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's over 5 goals a game.
Yeah, and I mean, that's about right.
That just shouldn't happen, period.
It shouldn't. And I mean, what's crazy too is, if you've seen the scores in the NHL this year, they're all high scoring. It is a offensive lead this year. And I mean, and I know that's a big thing has to do with I know that there was a big restriction on goalie pads this year, because I saw Ben Bishop was saying that it's basically like wearing a shin guard.
Right.
So he's saying about the goalie pad. So I mean, I don't think that, I know that some goalies, I know Lundqvist was one of them, that just kind of an infamous guy that got away with using bigger pads on his legs. Not that I don't think that made any difference for who he was as a goalie. That dude made ridiculous saves.
Yeah.
He made his name off talent, like not off just cheating the pad system,
right.
Whatever. So I think that could be a thing, but I don't know. I mean, a big thing, especially that, and I think this is where some of the blame falls on Hextall. Dude, you're going into a season with, you had Lyon, Neuvirth, and Elliott all coming off surgery, or Stolars was the fourth that came off surgery. All of them are coming off surgeries, and those are like 3 of your 4 guys that you're going to be using in the National Hockey League. Like, dude, that you can't be riding with that many injury-prone players. Like, you need to see, and because people are saying, oh, throw Carter Hart in. That's how Carter Hart doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you throw. That's exactly how you create another Steve Mason.
Well, that's something that I'm seeing right now is a lot of people are like, this team's struggling so bad. Like, we need, a consistent goalie. We need someone who can actually do well. Like, why aren't we bringing this kid Carter Hart in? And I'm going, have you taken a look at the defense? I don't want to throw this kid fresh into the league with that defense.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't matter if you're a stud. If you're, having 35, 40 shots let up on you in a game, you're going to let them in.
And honestly, I mean, the Folin goal that he gave, the Folin when he fell against the Blue Jackets on Thursday. That goal, while it was a terrible goal to give up by Picard, I really wonder how many goalies would really, how much pressure falls on you right then and there when you're like, all right, shit, that's pretty much my last defender back bringing the puck up, and he eats shit on. You can't even say that he tripped over the paint because he wasn't even at the paint yet. So what did he trip over? The ice that he's been skating on his entire life.
Yeah.
And honestly, people like to say, oh, well, you don't know what it's like. You're fucking right. I don't know what it's like. But I also know that if you've been skating for your whole fucking life, you shouldn't be falling, bringing the puck up regardless of the fucking situation. I'm sorry, but that is an embarrassment, and that was an embarrassing goal to give up when we were actually starting to come back. We actually were starting to build up a little bit of momentum, and then that bullshit happens, and I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. That's a terrible goal. Never should have happened in the National Hockey League when I'm watching the professional hockey league players. I should not see someone eating shit, bringing it up out of their zone, tripping on nothing. And I honestly, go ahead, you can rip me left and right, but that is an embarrassment. That is a joke.
At that point, though, if you're Picard, you got to look at that and just be like, well, shit, I guess, I guess all the news writers are going to be writing about how goaltending sucks again for Philadelphia this year.
I mean, can you blame them? If I'm Picard, I'm sitting there. Have I given them much? The best thing that he did was the first game he played when he won. He played against who did we beat when he played his first game?
Ugh.
We lost to Colorado, and then we played. Wasn't it because we lost to Vegas?
Was it someone up top, up north?
No, I feel like we've been playing a lot. Ottawa. I think he was playing for us against Ottawa. And he played well. I mean, that our offense was completely clicking. I mean, today, dude, the offense, our team looked good. They look decent. I don't want to jump ahead to good because they didn't look good. They look decent. I think they did a lot of things right. We can go off on a whole nother trail talking about these fucking penalties that the referees are calling this year, which have been atrocious.
Yeah.
They have been absolutely horrendous. They had, dude, the penalty in Columbus on the tripping call when Provorov was trying to hit the dude's stick, hits his leg, the guy tries to do a move, and just straight up fell. They call a 2-minute tripping penalty. They called a penalty on Michael Raffle today of hooking for when the dude was already halfway on the ice, and Michael Raffle goes for the puck and hits the stick, and they're calling him for a hook. Dude, that is just terrible calling. They had another one today that I would call it a hook more than a trip. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have called anything, but the referee called Brian Boyle for tripping on Jordan Wheel. And Jordan Wheel was kind of coming in. He was probably going to go down anyway. He was trying to do I don't know. It looked like he was trying to go through the legs maybe, but he had his legs wide, spread out wide, and he fell. So the outside ref, the ref in the neutral zone, calls the penalty, 2 minutes for tripping on Brian Boyle. And the other ref comes in and talks to the ref who made the call and makes him even it out and have Wheel go for embellishment. For fucking embellishment. And I'm sorry, but are you kidding me? If anything, I would have been pissed because, the puck was in their zone, whatever, even though the Devils had touched it to kill a play. I would have so much rather the ref say there was no penalty and to just say that there was nothing than to call both, because I think both were a stretch. I think the call on Brian Bull I don't think was a penalty, but to call an embellishment, Jesus Christ, are you fucking stretching?
Yeah,
I feel that.
Stretching
as hard as you can.
That's a moment when you're kind of looking at it all right, if you're going to even it out, you might as well just have it be nothing. Stop the play dead, and then you're an asshole for stopping the play dead.
Exactly.
But, if you're gonna actually have someone go in and be like, "Oh no, it wasn't that bad of a penalty, so we're just gonna give another penalty," that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, and that's what I dude, you see it so much in the NHL now. The fucking makeup calls. It's a pandemic, dude. It's plaguing the league. The makeup calls. It's so bad, and I don't want to have to watch and be like, okay, they missed a call on us. Now I expect a call back. I shouldn't have to watch the game like that. But that's what I like have come to almost have to expect, so that I feel like we're getting some fair reason. And I'm not saying that if another team gets 5 power plays and the Flyers only get 3, I'm saying, okay, you've got to make up for that. But I'm saying that these blatant shitty calls that they do, the Flyers are beneficiaries of them too. They've gotten their fair share of shitty calls called for that or in their favor, and I think that there were some in Columbus that were called in our favor. But it's just, dude, I know that there's going to be bad calls, but it's past the point.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad at this point. And the worst part for the Flyers, at least, is that their penalty kill just has never gotten better. And that's one of the things that you keep seeing online, and it's very obvious in their play. But how is Ian LaPerriere still in charge of the penalty kill? Because it hasn't gotten better in the past 3-4 years. How long has he been our penalty kill coach? It's never gotten better.
No, I agree.
That's the tough thing is, the league's gonna call penalties, however they call penalties.
Yeah.
That's something that we, as our team, can't control.
Yep.
The thing we can control, though, is when a penalty does get called on us, maybe let's have like a better game plan for what we're gonna do.
100%.
Because no matter what, it comes down to how you're playing on the ice. And if your coach for that specific special team isn't, succeeding in the one job he's supposed to do, at some point you have to be like, all right, you're out.
Yeah, and so a couple points to make there. I think that's very accurate. I mean, I completely agree that there are times where even in the beginning of the year, I'm sitting here and I'm sitting, you know what? Michael Raffl is sitting in there on the power play, playing his ass off. He is playing very well on the power play. And I said that to my dad. My dad says, okay, but what are we ranked? 29th out of 31 teams in the league. Okay, yeah, that sucks. And I remember saying it last year, being like, all right, like, at least they do well on the power, or on the penalty kill. I'm sorry. At least they're holding their own on the penalty kill. And it's like, okay, but when your penalty kill is finishing in the bottom 5 in the league, then like, how good are they?
Yeah.
How good are they? And there are, just like we've seen. I mean, thank every god that's ever, whatever. Just thank every god in the universe that Matt Reed is not on the fucking Flyers anymore, because he was terrible.
Rough.
Terrible.
It was rough.
Just awful. Just god awful. I just think that there's a million of those guys. There's a million Yuri Lateras out there. There's a million Michael Raffls. Although, to Raffl's credit, I think he's done much better on the penalty kill, and I think that the numbers don't do him justice. I think that he's done a much better job of just being more in control with the puck, even when he's on the boards, because he's always been pretty decent on the boards and a decent board battler. But now what's good is that you'll even see there a couple guys will close in and they'll kind of turn off. They'll kind of try and like come in real hot and pressure him to make a play, but then turn off. And Raffl will he'll take a step and be calm with it and keep the puck and even kill off 2 or 3 more seconds. And
Right.
those 2 or 3 more seconds are so much more crucial than people realize. Like, seriously, that
Absolutely.
any time that the other team is not touching the puck on the power play, especially for the Flyers, be counting your lucky stars, because you are praising, you are saying, even if it's thank you Dale Weiss, and if it's when he's out there, I mean, dude, he's an embarrassment, but whatever. Even if it's Dale Weiss, you're still saying thank you God that the other team isn't touching the puck, because it showed today when the Devils got it, they can work around us. And we had a couple other penalty kills, and not saying we can't kill the penalty, but to your point, the past couple of years we have not been able to. And also, as you were saying, like, those calls are gonna be made, whether any team likes it or not.
Yeah.
There are bad calls. There's bad calls galore. So it's all about how can your team respond to that. Your team has to be able to step up, even if it's 4 out of 10 times. They have to be able to step up on a genuinely bad call,
Yeah,
as opposed to just being like, man, that sucks. And then it's like, okay, well, we got a 4-minute double minor for a call that was bullshit. He was following through, and they called a double minor, whatever. Okay, and they score right away. Like, all right, well, we shouldn't be sulking and giving up another 3 goals because.
Well, that's the thing is you have to wonder how Ian LaPerriere still has this job, because in anyone else's workplace, if you're not doing the one job you're supposed to do, you're fired. You're canned.
Yeah, but taking a puck to the face will. That'll solidify.
You know that. As much as I respect that, and as much as I appreciate the fact that he took the puck to the face for this team that I love, this is a job, and this is a job coaching the team that I love.
Yeah.
And you took the puck to the face. That's great. Now I want you to take a proverbial puck to the face and stop working. Because, like, work in the front office or something, work in a different position.
Yeah.
But give the coaching position to someone maybe with a little bit more experience in coaching.
Yeah.
And because right now, the only 2 stars that I've really seen in the penalty kill has been Raffl's been stepping it up a whole lot, and Scott Lawton has actually been surprising me a whole bunch on the penalty kill. But as a whole, we're still not doing exactly what we want to do.
Subpar.
And so that's the toughest part of the whole thing is, even though we're like having a few stars who aren't necessarily the big names, the Giroux or the Voraceks, we're still not getting the job done.
No.
It's okay to have 1 or 2 players out there that are able to keep the puck away from the other team and dump it down the other side of the rink, but when your other when your other penalty kill unit is out there and it's not going the way we want it to, it's a little rough because they're not going to be able to perform at peak performance or whatever. I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right?
I'm completely catching you.
Yeah. Right now, Matt's trying to fix his mic. If you just want to hold it instead of setting the whole thing up again.
I can do that for now. I'm sorry, I spilled a little beer on you.
Ooh, no, that's all good. Yeah, I'll fix that. But yeah, it's just a little annoying to see this team not do as well as I know it should. Because going into this season, the Flyers were pretty good on paper.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can be a great team on paper, but you have to play hockey.
Yeah, you were hurt, and I mean, so going into this season, you knew that the Flyers are in it. I still think it's better than the Pacific and the Central, even though I know that people like to think that the Central is very good. I mean, they got Nashville, Winnipeg, Chicago, Colorado's even in there, and Colorado's been stepping up. But I mean, plenty of division out there. But I mean, dude, the Metro is a talented division. You have it's just the East itself. I mean, especially with the move of with the moves Toronto has made, because now Toronto is like they're on. I mean, I would take them as the easy favorite to win the Atlantic, and that's picking them over Tampa Bay. So that's okay. So you have 2 guys that are going to fight for that, and then you have teams like in the Atlantic that you think would win. Sorry.
You want to just talk a little bit more into the mic, bud?
Yeah. You just have teams like Florida, who I think is going to catch on. Carolina, who I think could do damage. But then, to go to the Metro, you have Washington, Pittsburgh, Columbus, New Jersey, the Flyers. Those are 5 teams right there that could hold their own. I think the Flyers are the weakest out of all of them because, I mean, or actually, I think is Carolina in ours?
No, I believe
They're in the
they're.
Atlantic.
I believe they're in the Atlantic.
I think you're right. Yeah, because with us, it's them, and then oh yeah, the Islanders, Rangers, and how many? That's 7. So we have one more, right? I don't know. Oh,
I don't know.
and I'm forgetting Boston in the Atlantic Division, who's like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that's Boston.
Yeah. Right
The
now,
Canadians.
it's a little tough for the Flyers just because of the division that we play in and the conference that we play in, because
Exactly.
we're playing some of the best teams in the league more often than
We're playing them
than
4 or 5 times
anyone
a year.
else. Yeah, and so it's tough for us to still be a surviving team,
Yeah.
which I feel like it's fair to say the Flyers for the past 5 years, they haven't been, a good team, a team that's like, okay, they're absolutely going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We're a surviving team where, just like in 2010 and just like last year, we end up making the playoffs on the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And it's like we're doing well enough to get to that position to be in that 8 for this conference.
Right.
But at the same time, we're not actually capitalizing on anything.
No, we're not. We can't win the games that we need to, or at least get points in the games that we need to be getting points. Like, these are games that, like, it's not a matter of like, oh, okay, yeah, we're playing West. No, you need points. You're playing someone in the other division in the East. You need points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how early it is. You need points. And do I expect to win or get a point out of every single game? Obviously not. I'm not stupid. Would I like that? Yes, I prefer that very much so. But I also know that that's not possible. But I'm also tired of this. I'm tired of this. Okay, I got a good first period. I got a good hard skating, hard fought first period where we're getting edged in shots and chances, and maybe we're down 1-0, but the Flyers are in it. They are in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, the second period comes around, and these boys are nowhere to be fucking found. And honestly, I would love to know where the Flyers go all the time in between these games, because it must be the most phenomenal spot. There must be endless drinks. It must be like an endless buffet or an open bar or
They're
something.
They're hanging out with Yuri Leitera.
They clearly, yeah. If Yuri Leitera is just supplying mountains of coke, because for them to be game after game just disappearing, and I'm not talking about they're struggling, I'm talking about disappearing. You are straight up not playing hockey, and you're giving up 4 or 5 goals in a period. When you're up 5-2 on the Florida Panthers, you need to close that fucking game out, not win 6-5 in a shootout.
Yeah.
Like my buddy says, he said, "Oh, didn't they win the other night?" No, like no, they didn't win the other night. That is the farthest from a win, but closest to a win, I guess.
Well, yeah,
as possible.
Well, that was the thing. Is I remember I watched the end of that game. I wasn't able to see the whole thing. I was only able to see the end, and everyone in the stadium seemed so excited, and everyone on Twitter seemed so excited. And I go, how can you be happy about that? You were up 5-2 in the second period, and you completely shit the game away. And then you survive just like you always have in a shootout. Well, not just like you always have in a shootout, but just over the course of the season, it's like, oh, thank God, brushing the sweat off of their brow.
Right.
You survive and luckily win a shootout for once in your entire career, and it's so frustrating. And the people that probably cheered for that win are the same people that probably scream shoot at the top of their lungs during a power play.
I had my fair share of sitting next to those people today.
It's rough. It's
Never
rough.
Gets old. Never gets old.
You always just want to turn to those people and be like, why? Why shoot? Just because they have the puck?
I love calling them out, and I'm like, wait until there's 7 people in front, then shoot, because people don't understand. They're screaming shoot, and I've actually heard someone counteract me, and to this point I thought about it the other day. So someone always says, or this one guy that I was talking to, I played hockey with him. He was on my team, and we go to a Flyers game, and it was Flyers Jets, maybe the Jets,
right.
and one of their guys, I think it was Mark Scheifele or Kyle or Adam or whatever that guy's name is.
Right.
One of those guys scored a goal. It scored a nice goal, nice snipe, put it top shelf. There were bodies in front. So then, a couple later in the second period, Flyers get a power play, and my buddy's like, or everyone's yelling shoot, and I'm like, why are you yelling shoot? Wasn't it so dumb? Stop. And this guy turns to me and says, dude, are you kidding me? That's exactly how we scored. We scored because there's traffic in front and everything. I say, okay, if you think that traffic in front is 5+ bodies, then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
As opposed to one of your guys and another defender trying his best to ward him off, that's traffic in front.
Yeah.
And there's a distinct difference between the two, because you don't just, and then people they say, oh, the Flyers can only get 15 shots through 2 periods. Well, that's because the other 12 times they tried to shoot, there were 5+ bodies in front. That's how shots get blocked, and that's how shots go the other way. Now, I also agree that there are times that I'm not saying, because the Flyers are a pass-happy team.
Yeah, they are.
They will only pass. Giroux did it today, where he fucking had a clear shot, and he wanted to make the pass. Okay, fine. Not fine, but I mean, if you want to make the pass, that's fine. Other dude, you have to be passing it to someone who is actually going to hit the net when he's shooting, and we don't have any of those guys. Maybe James Van Riemsdyk, who, boy, do we miss him.
Yeah, that's rough for this team, is to lose such a big piece so early,
Yeah.
and for a pretty substantial amount of time. And so that's why I think the beginning of this season's still gonna be rough until we actually get these pieces back to where we want them to be. It's just gonna be a defense that isn't showing up to every single game, and a coaching staff that doesn't really seem to have a goal in mind. And
Hacksaw doesn't know when the fuck to call a timeout.
And goalies being left hung out to dry. And until at least one of these pieces gets fixed, they're going to have a rough time. And I think by the time JVR comes back, then we're going to have a bit more scoring underneath of us.
It's going to be too late in the season. It's already too late in the season to be pulling this bullshit,
Yeah.
It's really you got to be getting points no matter what. And the Flyers do not do well when they start off bad. And this is starting off bad. That's why I said, dude, 4-4 is atrocious, because a couple of those games we should not have lost, and some of those games we shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. It's still a young team. You have to be able to take it with that grain of salt. But I don't know. I mean, it comes to a point.
Yeah, it's a little rough. And the thing that I've been thinking about all week is I saw on Twitter someone said that we went 0-3 while under Laviolette.
Yeah,
and
1-3. Yeah.
We went 0-3 and fired him.
Yep.
We are 4-4 with, even though it's 4-4, that's a 50% win rate. We feel that this team is worse than that.
100%. They've played
and
worse
yet
than that.
we're still with a collegiate coach.
Yeah.
So my question is, at what point do you have to go, okay, this guy's just not working?
Well, I think it's tough too. I don't know how many other coaches would be able to fit this system. I think that the Flyers have a specific system that we've kind of been modeling around Hacksaw for a little bit now, since Laviolette, and I think we're a little bit stuck with it.
I completely agree, and I think we still have to find someone that's able to coach this team in a system that is able to help progress some of these younger kids and keep our veterans and our key players going in a direction that we want them to.
Right.
But as a whole, at what point do you go, this guy's not working? Because I felt like it was there at the end of last season. And that's why at the end of last season, I was kind of hoping that we missed playoffs. Just to be like, Don't
Yeah.
give this guy an out.
Yeah.
Because if we make playoffs, that looks good for him, and I don't want it to look good for him.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my question as we leave this podcast, because we're wrapping up right about now. At what point do you say, Hackstall, we wish you the best on all your future endeavors?
I'm saying, fuck you, Hacksaw. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, yeah, I guess good luck, but god damn it, dude, you
at
ran
this
us
point,
into the
it's like,
ground.
all right.
I'm ready. I'm done.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm done with you.
I feel that.
But nah, I definitely feel you. I mean, I'm with you, man. I think that question needs to be answered sooner rather than later. I think it should have been answered after the San Jose game. You do not come out in a home opener and get blown out 8-2. You do not do it in that fashion.
So realistically, I think I'm trying to be positive about this team. I always look at some of these great players that are actually putting along points. I'm very surprised with Wayne Simmons. So I'm gonna try to keep my my head still positive and wrapped around everything.
It's a good move.
Because too much with Philly sports teams, and especially the Flyers, you see so much negative stuff. So
it's easy to get lost in it.
So I'm trying to be hopeful. I hope you all listening are as well. I've been Dr. PhD, otherwise known as Pat Haley. This has been Matt Tompkins.
Triple Matty T.
Triple Matty T. I like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna sign off here. If you want to follow us, follow me at Dr. PhD on Twitter.
And I believe I'm actually Triple Matty T on Twitter as well.
All right. Well, I'll put that in the annotations anyway.
We'll figure it out.
But thank you so much. We'll be back next time. And it was a bit of a rough one. Had the mic drop, but
we'll get it ready.
We'll figure it out at some point. All right. Thank you.
Let's go Fly Boys.
Absolutely.